you know of the gentleman?
Well, I know of a man of you describe.
Was he nice or was he not nice?
He was very nice. Very dashing. Told you about him before.
My dad, you guys. traveler told me to have faith. I know that this is who you are. I'm going to have faith in you, Yasha. And I hope that the Storm Lord can bring you home and back to who you really want to be.
Good morning.
The Storm Lord can...
Howdy doody. Morning, Swiftness.
Was visible some ways off to the north, but other
Air conditioner be loud today.
Dedication. Sky, save me.
Okay, is our sound booth set up? Probably not, right? Hey, morning, Danny. Thank you.
Check, check, check. Check. Check, check, check.
Oh, are you on the right settings? No, you are not.
Check. There we go. An end and a beginning. An end and a beginning. An end and a beginning. Chapter 1. The Lord's Attendant. Lifemage Dawning, Chapter 1. The Lord's Attendant. Excuse me.
Hey, morning, Erica.
Chapter 2. Death in Daylight. Lifemage Dawning, Chapter 2. Death in Daylight. Oh, love a good tweet thread, Erica. Hold on a sec. Thank you so much for the sub, Nix. The resub, I should say. You're amazing as always. 4 years. Can't believe it. Okay. So in the recording of the book so far,
Silly me, I completely forgot to record my chapter titles, because for some reason they didn't make it into the version of the manuscript that I'm using to record. So, if you were curious, that's what we're doing right now. Chapter 3. A Bath and a Bond. Lifemage Dawning, Chapter 3. A Bath and a Bond. Well, Danny, I regret to inform you that you are able to cash in your points at any time. I have put no restrictions on it. I may not always play the song immediately, but I will play it at my next possible opportunity. So if you want to cash in those points, you go right ahead. Hey, taking a break is important too. I have never heard this song before. Oh, Jesus. Jesus, Danny. No, I can't do this song. This is way beyond me. I did actually put up a song list. But that song is, I just looked up the chords of it, and that's so far beyond my skill level. Yeah. Here. There we go.
those are songs that I already know and am decently familiar with, and anything beyond that, I'll take a request, but like, I reserve the right to say, nope, can't do that. So if you want to pick another song off that list, Danny, go ahead. Oh, it's no problem. Yeah, I mean, I don't know most of the time until I check these songs out either. You know what I mean? I'll get an idea in my head that, oh, I would love to play this song that I have heard before and I know like really, really well. And I'll go, and it doesn't seem like it should be that hard. My favorite example of this is Simple Man by Leonard Skynyrd. You listen to that song and you're like, that sounds like a pretty easy song. And in fact, the chorus is quite easy. You know, that famous like that part is very easy to play. And then what's happening on the guitar through all the verses is bonkers difficult. Like, it's wild how hard that song is. And I would never have known until I went and looked it up, you know? So, happens to me all the time. But yeah, if you pick any song off that list, I will play that instead. 'Cause I owe you a song for your dedicated and loyal viewership. I'm not sure why I chose this voice in particular, but now that I've committed to it, we all just have to roll with it. I apologize. Why am I still doing it? Another mystery for the ages. Lifemage Chapter 4, Mother's Claw. Makes no sense. Compels me, though. Oh, Daniel Craig, what were you doing? Aside from just having a really good time. Knocking on Heaven's Door. What a fantastic choice. Non-Elmo voice this time. I appreciate that. I always have trouble with my G string. Always just a slight difficulty getting the G string to be exactly where it's supposed to be. Oop. Wow, we are rusty, team. Mama, take this badge off of me. I can't wear it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama, take these guns off of me. I can't shoot them anymore. Big cloud coming down over me. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Thank you, Danny. It's one of my favorite songs to play. Wah! And we shall mark this request complete. Oh, wait. How do we do... Shit. Where... How do I mark this complete? I forget how this works! I don't remember. Do you remember? No! I got a request, and now I'm supposed to mark that I did it, and I don't remember how. No. There's a way to do this. Review requests queue. There we go. Boom. Mark as complete. Excellent. That is done now. Ready for the next one. Thank you, Danny. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and one day, perhaps, maybe, I will be up to the level of Peace Train. We can revisit that. But just now, I am woefully underskilled for that song. Blackbird by the Beatles. I feel like I should know that song. Right. Huh. You know, that seems quite doable. I'd give that one a crack, Danny. Require a little practice, but it's now it's one of those ones that looks like the technical way to play it per the original recording would be quite complicated. But I found, just in 2 seconds of Google search, I found that somebody had apparently put together a simplified chords version of the song. Easiest song on guitar? You know, it's actually one of the easiest songs on guitar is Everlong by the Foo Fighters. I love that song. $100%ed that baby on Rocksmith. Ho Hey by the Lumineers is also quite simple. I could actually add that to my list now that I'm thinking about it. Did I fix you already? Hello? Hello? We did it. Thank you for coming by, Danny. Much appreciated as always. Jedney's always lurking just below the surface these days. All right. Let me go refill my coffee, and then we will record Chapter 6.
Check. Finally recording. Okay. Lifemage Dawning, recording day 5. Nope. Mono input, thank you very much. I Vale. Chairman Cameron. Chaircam. Okay, Lifemage Dawning, recording day 5. Beginning as always with 30 seconds of silence. Starting now. All right. A moment of silence for the chair cam. Chapter 6. Shadow in the Tower. Lifemage Dawning, Chapter 6. Shadow in the Tower. Oris's pulse. Boy. Oris's pulse thundered in her ears as they sprinted through the stronghold. Thoughts raced through her mind, each vanishing in an instant. It was some beast. It was a monster from campfire legend. It was more enemies like Enfill, and this time they did not care about the lover's safety. One thought kept repeating. Sylvan knows what it is. Sylvan knows what it is. They burst into the entry hall. All three of them froze in horror. Ombi lay on his back on the floor. His chest was torn open, and his eyes stared sightlessly at the ceiling. Something. This is really loud in my ears. I'm not 100% sure why, but I guess I can just turn my headphones down slightly. Something crouched over Kara. Her legs stuck out from beneath it, and they were kicking feebly. Oris could not tell what the thing was in the darkness. There was something bear-like about its thick, shaggy fur, but the limbs were too long and gangly, and the way it had ripped Ombi apart. No, it was not a bear. All this she saw in the space of half a heartbeat. Then she, Flip, and Sylvan charged, screaming and brandishing weapons and flame. The creature turned and snarled at them. Oris saw bared, yellowing fangs. Its eyes glinted unnaturally in the pale sunlight. Then the creature snatched Kara up in one massive claw. It scuttled up the wall and out through a hole in the masonry there, disappearing outside. Kara's screams went on and on, until eventually the sound of the rain drowned them out. "No!" cried Oris. She raced back and forth beneath the hole in the wall, trying to catch another glimpse of the thing. What in the dark below was that? What in the dark below was that? Flip's voice was high and shrill. He swung back and forth, waving his flames at the darkness. Sylvan ran to Ombi. She knelt to inspect him, but Oris could tell from even so far away the lover was dead. Oris fixed Sylvan with a look. You know. Sylvan's gaze leaped up to her. Her jaw clenched tighter. I have only a guess. Well, guess then, screeched Flip. Its nest was almost bestial, but not quite, said Sylvan. It attacked without provocation, but otherwise it was like an animal. I think it is a fallen weremage. That meant nothing to Oris, but Flip's face went even paler. Dark below, he whispered. What? Said Oris. What is that? A weremage that they failed to... Flip shook his head and licked his lips. It is a long tale, but the heart of it is that all magic is dangerous. Fledglings learning its use must take every care not to harm themselves or others. In a student's later years at the academy, half of all instruction teaches them to avoid the dangers of their own spells. So that you do not set yourself ablaze or some such, said Oris. Or some such, said Flip, nodding. Though there are worse things than fire. Instructors can stop flames before they do too much damage, but not lightning. Some instructors refuse to teach it at all because it's so quick and yet so violent. Some students harm their bodies beyond repair. The lightning twists their limbs and causes their nerves to suffer always from pain, as though the bolt is striking them over and over again, forever. Weremages turn into other creatures, and learning to do so can be a painful process, said Sylvan. When the pain is too great, most of the time it merely breaks the weremage's concentration, reverting them to their natural form. But sometimes, rarely, the pain is so great that it breaks a weremage's mind. Terror keeps them from dropping the form, and they lose their own consciousness in the beasts. Oris turned to face the darkness, her grip tightening on her sword. So it's human. I would argue that it is not, said Sylvan grimly, but it is certainly dangerous. Fine, said Oris. How do we hunt it? Sylvan blinked. We are not hunting it. We have to go. Oris whirled on her. We're not leaving. Kara was alive. Flip looked at her, aghast. When we saw her, yes, but she must be dead now. We're contracted to protect her, Oris told him. We'll be in quite enough trouble for Ombi. We have to try to save her at least. Sylvan, how do we hunt the thing? I can tell the guild you did all you could, said Sylvan. My master's influence will have some sway with them. You are not lying to the guild on our behalf, growled Oris. And it would be a lie because we haven't tried all we can to save her. Now for the last time, answer me or I'm setting off into the stronghold alone. How do we hunt this creature? Sylvan gave her a very odd look. Oris did not think she looked angry exactly, but she could not read what the woman felt. Flip, on the other hand, looked suitably chastised, which pleased Oris a little. By your word, Oris, said Sylvan. Let us hunt, then. They set off into the darkness together, Sylvan speaking quietly to the both of them. It is something between beast and human. We should therefore expect an animalistic instinct, but crossed with human wit and cunning. We must think not only like a hunter in the wild, but also like someone tracking down a fugitive. We found one of its nests, but it will have other places to retreat to, like a lord withdrawing to their keep when an enemy has taken the walls. An apt metaphor, said Flip slowly. Yet I doubt it would be...
Yet I doubt it would be living in the keep here. You saw it when we came in. It's mostly fallen to ruin, so another high place.
Oris's brow furrowed.
A high place? Why?
Flip shrugged.
Because it's part human. A beast might not take a high position to spy anyone approaching, but a human certainly would. Clever,
said Sylvan.
The tower should be this way. Come.
She led them down 2 turns to a long hallway. The right-hand wall was all solid stone, but on the left side there were several doors. Oris guessed they were walking along the stronghold's outer wall, and the doors on the left led to some of the other buildings along the edge of the main courtyard. But they had not gone very far when a powerful stench struck them all, wafting out of the darkness ahead.
Dark below,
said Oris, covering her nose.
What is that?
Flip sent his flames a little ahead of them to light the way.
A corpse. Look.
The body laid The body lay propped against the wall, just next to a door that hung crookedly on its hinges. There was no way to tell if it had been man or woman or twixt, so much of the flesh had been eaten away. Excuse me. What meat remained was infested with maggots, and they crawled through the body and across the floor surrounding it.
Dark below,
said Oris again. Her gorge threatened to rise. But Flip pulled a handkerchief out of his pocket. Holding it over his mouth, he approached the body. There he retrieved something Oris had not noticed at first. A bow and a quiver of arrows, undamaged and resting on the floor about a pace away from the corpse.
I have my magic, he said, but it can't hurt to have a weapon to hand other than my dagger. I'd rather not draw within arm's reach of that thing, if I can help it. A wise choice, said Sylvan, and the corpse tells us the creature is almost certainly this way.
Wonderful, said Flip, with all the false cheer he could muster.
I'll be behind you, then, if it's...
The crooked door behind him burst off its hinges. It slammed into Flip, throwing him into the opposite wall. His flames guttered out, and the hallway went pitch dark. Oris gave a battle cry and held her blade before her, but she could see nothing to attack. Sylvan screamed. The beast roared. Something heavy struck Oris's arm, jostling her to the side. She fell, and her hand came down on something. The something seemed to crumple, and Oris felt wet things moving. The corpse. Her hand had come down on the corpse and the maggots feasting on it. She retched. Oris! Flip's voice pierced the dark. Suddenly his fire surged again. Oris cried out in fear as she saw the corpse's face only a finger's breadth from her own. She scrambled away. Flip's spell wavered, for fear or for forsne or for dig, a parfait had a burg kid for the football. Flip's spell wavered, from fear or from wooziness at the blow he had taken. The light flickered on and off again. In the flashes, Oris saw the creature had borne Sylvan to the ground. Its claws were wrapped around her blade, and nasty, gnashing teeth were almost upon her throat. Now she got her first good look at the thing. It was indeed bear-sized in height and length, and its head was something like a bear's, with rounded ears and a heavy, short snout. But the knees bent the wrong way. The claws were long and straight, long as knives and just as sharp. It looked like an awful hybrid of a bear and some demon of the darkness below. With the thing visible at last, Sylvan lifted a sword and plunged it deep into the creature's chest.
It roared in pain, but then its eyes flared, and the wound sealed itself up. Oris had seen that before. A weremage's gift, she thought. The same magic that let them alter their bodies also let them seal their own wounds. Oris slashed it across the flank with her sword. It reared up, howling with anger again. One of its limbs smashed Oris in the temple. She fell, stunned. With a cry, Flip threw himself onto the creature. He wrapped his arms around its neck and wrenched. It gave a choked gurgle as it fell off Sylvan. But then it rolled with the motion. As it righted itself, one paw lashed out into Flip's chest. He was flung across the hallway and face down. His fires died again. In the darkness, Oris heard the creature screech. Then she heard Flip scream, loud and long, and fading like Kara's scream, as he grew more distant. The thing was dragging him away. "No!" she screamed. "Flip! Flip!" "Hold for a moment," growled Sylvan. Her voice was somehow deeper, gravelly, probably from the exertion of holding the creature back from her throat. Oris barely saw her silhouette appear in the doorway the creature had come through, and then there was a heavy crash as she opened another door. Cold air blasted through the space, bringing with it weak daylight. Now that Oris could see, she scrambled to her feet. But she was still woozy, and she almost fell over. "Come on," she told Sylvan. "It took Flip. We have to—" "Hold," said Sylvan, her voice still thick and raspy. "Charging off is what got Flip snatched. Take one moment to breathe." She took Oris's shoulder, but Oris threw off her arm. "We don't have a moment, nor does Flip. Come on, take your blades." She went and scooped up Sylvan's swords, which had fallen in the fight, and then 2 pouches that had fallen from her belt. But as she straightened, holding the pouches in her hands, she stopped. Something had fallen from one of them. Something small and silver, attached to a chain. Oris bent again and picked it up, holding it in her hand. It was a symbol. Oris had not seen it all that often, but she recognized it at once. 3 rods bound by a ring and wings behind them. She looked up at Sylvan, fury building in her heart. "You're a mystic," she spat. "Of course I am," said Sylvan. "Of course? Of course! You've never said a word about it." "And would either of you have come with me if I had?" "And would either of you have come with me if I had?" "You know we wouldn't." "Well, there you have it." Oris seized the front of Sylvan's jerkin and slammed her against the wall. Sylvan did not resist. "That was a pretty lie you spun about your parents," she snarled. "I suppose you would have said anything to earn our trust." Sylvan looked up at her. She was smiling, but Oris almost felt afraid of her. "It was no lie." That stopped Oris short. She blinked. "What?" "The mystics killed my parents, as I said, and everyone else I ever knew. I celebrate the day every year, the anniversary of my freedom. You cannot imagine what they did to me." Oris felt that all the wind had gone out of her. This was all too much for her to know what to think about it. She loosened her grip on Sylvan and stepped away. "Our arrangement is over. We save Flip and then we're done. And we'll keep the gold you gave us in payment for your lies." "We are not done, Oris," said Sylvan. "Whatever you think about my order, someone still wants you dead. We are the only help that will come to you." "Some will want to use you for their own ends," said Oris. "That's what you told me at the river. Now I know who you meant. What is it they say? The mystics have silver tongues, but they are forked." "The enemy has followed you since Wellmont, as I have," said Sylvan. "He will not be stopped. When he finds you, he will destroy you. And if Flip survives tonight, he will die defending you. Won't he?" Oris took a deep breath to reply, but nothing came out. Her jaw set. Sylvan smirked. "But if you come with me, Oris, we will protect you. And we can provide more than protection. Do you not wish to know who you are?" "I've heard enough about who I am," said Oris, shaking her head in dismissal. "Some chosen figure selected by fate for purposes unknown." "I do not mean that," said Sylvan. "I mean who you are. Do you not wish to know who your parents were, or where you were born?" Oris's eyes flashed as she turned on Sylvan. "You don't have those answers. But we can get them, Oris. We and no one else." Quickly, desperately, Oris shook her head. "Enough. Flip's running out of time if he isn't dead already, and I don't care about any of that. I'm only a sword for hire. It's all I've ever been." "It's all I've ever been." "It is not all you will ever be," said Sylvan. "Stop," said Oris. "I don't care. We have to save Flip." "You cannot tell him," said Sylvan. "Of course I can, and I will." "I mean it, Oris. Not until you meet my master, at least." "Flip and I have been friends for years," said Oris. "I won't lie to him for you." Sylvan bent. She scooped up the bow Flip had dropped and walked off down the hallway. "If you want to know the truth, then you will lie to him for yourself." Sylvan seemed to know where she was going, for she trotted unerringly down the hallway, following it as it turned left and then left again. Oris followed, her thoughts a mess of agitation. But then Sylvan stopped, drawing back against the right-hand wall of the hallway, staring ahead. The space lightened, and Oris could see that it also opened up into a wider area, the watchtower. "Can you shoot?" said Sylvan. Oris blinked. "What?" Sylvan raised the bow and quiver. "Can you shoot?" she repeated. "Passably well." "Well, I am awful at it, so take this," said Sylvan. "I think the thing is using Flip as bait to lure us into an ambush. I am going to go after it directly. You must wait for the right moment and shoot the weremage the moment you see an opportunity." That made Oris hesitate. "But what if I hit you?" Sylvan shook her head. "You will not. I will give you a good opportunity. Your job is to take it. And as you have said, Flip is running out of time. Come, quickly." Without further warning, she turned and charged down the hallway towards the watchtower. She gave a battle cry as she went, and, drawing her swords, she slammed them against the stone walls. Oris darted down the hallway to follow, awkwardly drawing an arrow. She burst into the tower only a moment after Sylvan. It was 15 paces tall and square in shape. There were arrow slits, but some of them had crumbled over time, and they let in flurries of rain. A stone stairway ran up to the top, where there was a large platform running around the tower's ceiling. As lightning flashed and thunder crackled behind it, Oris saw movement upon the platform. She belched. It was right up on the microphone, and everyone listening was like, "Yo, what the fuck, Oris? Oris, what the fuck?" When the thunder died away, she heard the sounds of scuffling leather on wood. Flip is alive, she thought fiercely. But then her attention went to Sylvan. The mystic was charging up the stairs, still screaming as loud as she could. It worked. Far above, Oris saw the flash of yellow eyes. Then a shadowy form leaped down the wall towards Sylvan. Oris crept up the stairs, arrow ready for an opening. Sylvan tumbled left and out of the way. The monster came to a skidding stop and spun to meet her. Sylvan came at it in a whirl of blades. It batted one of them aside and sidled around her, placing itself between her and the wall. Dark take the thing, thought Oris. Come on, closer to me, you steer. The creature swung for Sylvan with its claws. She parried the first swing and sliced it across the forearm with her other sword. That made it recoil at last. It drew back, but then it attacked with renewed savagery, knocking one of Sylvan's swords away to fall to the birth of her hand of bird football. It drew back, but then it attacked with renewed savagery, knocking one of Sylvan's swords away to fall to the bottom of the tower. It gripped Sylvan in its claws and pressed her against the stairs' stone railing. Sylvan dropped her other sword, gripping the creature's wrist to keep from falling into empty space. Through gritted teeth, she cried, "Shoot it!" Oris hesitated. Sylvan still blocked half the creature's body, but finally she loosed, praying to the sky. Sylvan twisted savagely to the side, prying herself partway out of the creature's grip, its claws tearing her skin. The motion put the creature's head just in the path of Oris's arrow. The shaft pierced it in its open, roaring mouth. There came a spurt of blood as the arrowhead pierced out through the top of its skull. For a moment more it stood frozen there. Then it collapsed forwards on top of Sylvan. Together they pitched over the railing and began to fall. "Sylvan!" cried Oris. She lunged back down the stairs, but there was no time to catch her. Seizing the railing, she leaned over, trying desperately to grasp Sylvan's arm, but it was too far. Time seemed to slow. Sylvan's hair floated around her face as though she were under water. And then Oris realized that Sylvan had slowed in truth. The monster had already struck the ground. Sylvan's hair was being lifted and cast about by wind, not by water. Oris looked up in astonishment. There, at the edge of the top platform, Flip's upper body jutted out into open space. The wizard's eyes were aglow, his hand outstretched, and his mouth fluttered with his incantations. Blood covered his face and arms, but he was alive, and it was his magic that had caught Sylvan. She struck the stone floor of the tower, but no faster than at a good run. She grunted with pain, but her body did not break. The tower fell to silence, and Flip rolled back out of sight with a groan. Immediately Sylvan forced herself to rise. She sprinted up the stairs, following Oris, who was climbing as fast as she could. Oris reached the top. There was Flip. His purple coat was stained with the blood of many cuts, though none of them looked mortally deep. "You're alive," she said. "Am I?" wheezed Flip. "Wonderful." Oris smirked. But then she saw Kara. The lover was still breathing. Both her hands were pressed to her throat and chest, and blood leaked steadily between her fingers. "Sky save us," said Oris. She ran to the lover and fell on her knees beside her. She tore off her vest and pressed it hard to Kara's neck before gently pulling the lover's hands away from the wound. They rose to clutch Oris's shoulders and tunic instead, smearing them with red. "How bad is it?" croaked Flip. He tried to come to them, but he could do little more than crawl. "Here." Sylvan had reached the platform, and she went to Flip to pull him up. Quickly she ran her fingers and eyes over him, inspecting his wounds. "You will live." She looked over at Kara. "Will she?" "Yes," said Oris through gritted teeth. Yes, said Oris through gritted teeth, pressing harder upon the vest to stop the blood. Together they came to her, Sylvan taking one of Flip's arms to help him. Kara was barely conscious. Still she clung to Oris desperately, and Oris could feel the blood on the lover's hands where they gripped her. Her eyes were half-lidded, and they twitched back and forth as though searching for danger. Flip looked mournful. Oris, can you do anything for her? I'm doing what I can, snapped Oris. I mean anything else. Oris looked up at him, confused. Then her expression turned to stone. Sylvan looked back and forth between the two of them, clearly aware of a secret in their words. No, said Oris. What else could I do? Sylvan gave her an appraising look. Then she put a gentle hand on Oris's arm. Oris, a word? I'm holding her throat in place, said Oris. Whatever you have to say, I don't think she'll object. Sylvan looked pained, but she leaned in with a hand on Oris's shoulder and brought her lips close enough that her breath tickled Oris's ear. She is not going to survive the night. She will, Darktaker! Oris's voice was shaking with fury. Barkin' boy. Wolf. Bork. Bork. Heck. One sec, I gotta go see what's happening. Okay. She will, Darktaker! Oris's voice was shaking with fury. I can save her, and I'm going to. Oris. Oris turned to her with burning eyes. Get away from me, or I'll throw you off the tower like that creature meant to. Sylvan looked shocked, but Flip reached over and gently pulled her backwards. Come, he said gently. You aren't convincing her otherwise. Trust me. We should fetch our packs. We should fetch our packs. Da-na-na-na. We did it, Reddit. Okay. Time for me to go
So I will throw a raid. Who shall we raid? We shall raid Cadiosaurus. Oh, man. Finally recording again. Back from Colorado. No more random stuff or trips or vacations or anything. We can just finish recording the goddamn book. Oh, man. All right. We will get back to recording tomorrow morning. And in the meantime, I'm going to go. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Vale, am I why the weather was randomly cooler? Probably. But it's not like I brought it with me. Oregon's hot as balls right now. Anyway. Peace out, everyone. Thanks for coming and hanging. I will catch you next time. Bye.
Come over here. Good girl. She wants a ribbon. She doesn't want a ribbon. Oh, she wins. She does. She has a ribbon. She's one of the best dog in the whole wide world ribbon. That's what she gets. Dog tax. Oh, look at this dog, you guys. Look at this dog. Do you guys remember? Hello, Raiders. Welcome in. It doesn't matter if your raid is big or small. It's the raid that counts. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. How was your stream? What were you all up to? Also, do you guys remember that stupid time when I didn't have a dog? Remember that? Remember how I didn't have this just incredible creature in my life? Remember that? That was the silliest thing. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my whole life. Why didn't I just have this dog the whole time? I had to wait. I had to wait for her. It's good. It was a very fast interview. Well, that's good.